Hi everybody, hope you've liked the video so far tonight. This is the last word where Newcastle United have drawn with Aston Villa 1-1 at St James's Park. Right, and so what we're going to do is talk about the lineups in a second. Talk about the game first half, second half. We'll get a bit of reaction from Brucey. Take a look at the league table and talk briefly about Manchester City. So, the lineup then. Bruce didn't act to change anything. It was the same lineup that heavily dominated the game against Sheffield United, in particular second half where we won 3-0. No changes whatsoever. Some people might be surprised by that going into the game with Manchester City after that. Some people thought that would be rotated like for the game against Sheffield United, as I mentioned. But if we look at Aston Villa, it was interesting that Dean Smith moved that around and brought Grealish to more central role, brought in Trezeguet, dropped Davis to the bench and brought in Samatta. I'm winging this, people, I'm winging this. I think that was the only two changes from the lineups of Villa fans. Correct me if I am wrong. So those were the lineups. And I thought the game was pretty poor first half, and it seems to be a bit of a trend with the Premier League teams. First 10 minutes, well, first 15 minutes actually, I thought Villa were the better side, predominantly going down the Danny Rose route, trying to get him on out of position, targeting him. But Newcastle started to pick up a lot more through saint-maximin. I thought he was the best player, and I'm pleased that BT Sport picked up on this as well. He was the best player, and he was picking the ball up, he was driving past players, even on the right hand side when he went past a couple of players and whipped it in. No one on the edge of the 6-yard box. Joe Linton should be bursting the gut to get in there. Speaking of Joe Linton, obviously had the where Shelvey picked the ball up dispossessed, played in Shelvey, and he does a little dummy step past Mings, and Mings recovers brilliantly for a corner. But the first half was poor, wasn't it? It was a poor first half. Going into the second half, I think the game brightened up a lot more. Like I say, it seems to be a bit of a trend with all these Premier League teams that more freshness comes in, a lot of subs, and it seems to be a bit more high tempo, and that certainly happens with Newcastle. And I think the Matt Ritchie injury hopefully is not too serious, but him going off, and Bruce thought, well, I'm not going to play another winger, I'm going to actually go for it. So he tweaked it and went with two up top, Little and Large, Gale and Carroll, as Joe Linton came off. And you've got to give Steve Bruce a massive credit there, because if that was Rafa Benitez, I think Rafa Benitez probably would have done a like for like at that stage so early on in the second half, and it works fantastically well almost instantly. Tyrone Mings, I don't know what he's doing in the left back position for the throw in, trying to mark Andy Carroll, and that pulls him out of position, because Carroll, he's fantastic when the ball is in the air, bringing it down. He turns and plays in Dwight Gale, and it was a proper old school Dwight Gale finish in the box, bottom corner, proper Dwight Gale finish. And obviously he was in baggies last year, so you would have a little bit inside of him would have enjoyed that. But Newcastle went 1-0 up, and you're thinking, this is good, this, we're going to go and get a second. But Villa towards the end of the game, for me, were the better side. And the amount of pressure that with defence were under, for the amount of corners and the amount of free kicks that Grealish was picking up, because he's the most fouled player in the Premier League, it was constant. And the goal that they scored is a very poor goal for us. It's a look, let's face facts, Martin Dubravka is a fault for the goal, and it's not the first time that Dubravka's made an error this season, but the amount of times he saves us on the flip side. Yes, I know he's at the top of the charts for the most amount of errors leading to goals, but he's also at the top of the charts for the most saves. So he's a busy goalkeeper, but he's got to do better. He has to do better. Let's be reality here. Let's face facts. Shelvey to some extent probably needs to kick it, but we don't know if Dubravka's give Shelvey a shout. We don't know, but for me, the goalkeeper has to take ownership there and do a lot better. But as I mentioned, Villa equalise. Villa looked the strongest. I was a little bit worried. The constant crosses and free kicks kept coming in, and when I seen the minutes go up to 5, and Newcastle were just hanging on for a point, and Villa will probably say that they should have went on to nick that, and probably so for the end of the game anyway. But it ended 1-1. Villa have only picked up 2 points from the last 3 games. Doesn't do them the world of good in the league table for bringing it up now. But like I say, Newcastle, after the Sheffield United win, I said they were safe. Like many of Newcastle fans like yourselves, we are practically safe now. Can we have another target and finish for the top 10? I think that's a realistic aim, and if you don't have something, that we don't want the season just to fizzle out. Of course, we've got the FA Cup game coming up, and that was a real surprise, as I said at the top of the video, that Bruce, for some people, went with the same lineup. For me personally, it wasn't a huge shock. I think there will be a couple of changes going into Manchester City, because if you look at the performances, obviously Dwight Gale came off and scored. I think the lad forgot how to celebrate. He didn't know where he was for a minute. Andy Carroll made a game changer, and that's the reason why, for me, I'd like to keep Andy Carroll on next season. Is off the bench he can change things like he did today. Manchester City will not want to play against Andy Carroll. No chance will they want to play against Andy Carroll. They'd rather play against Joe Linton. So if you are going to change it, there's the change for me. You've got to start Andy Carroll, definitely. But we'll see, won't we, on Sunday? It's a big game, and if we could get past Manchester City, I mean, the scenes, I know it's partial lockdown, the pubs are open soon, but yeah, I think there'll be a few fans celebrating, don't you? But yeah, performances wise, Alan Saint-Maximin, best player of the pitch. I think most people are saying that. I thought Danny Rose had a much better game, because he has been criticised on this channel and in the media, but I thought he had a better game. But Alan Saint-Maximin, yeah, he's the best player. And obviously the subs with Gale and Carroll changed the game, didn't they? But everything went through Saint-Maximin. I said on Tiny Way TV, the video I filmed just before, was that I don't want to be known as the one-man team, a bit like Palace are with Zaha and Grealish is with Villa. I don't want us to become the one-man team through ASM, because we've been heavily reliant on him for the last 2 games, coming back, and even before the lockdown with Southampton, because he scored. But Steve Bruce, reaction, here he is.
We said before, and I think they're third in the Premier League, so we did warn the players. It's quite amazing they're very good at one end and maybe not so good at the other, you know. But we're disappointed that we haven't seen it through, because that's what we've really prided ourselves on. You know, I think that's the first goal we've conceded in 5 home games here. So you know, defensively, you know, to give a goal like that, you don't mind if you're opened up in a little bit of brilliance, but we're disappointed because it was a poor goal to concede.
And that was Brucey, of course, who used to manage Villa in the Championship as well. Before we wrap up, let's get a quick reaction from one of the lads. I don't know who it is because I've already filmed this, but he had a reaction from one of the other lads on NFTV about the performance today.
Really disappointing performance from Newcastle today. Very different from the game that took place over the weekend, where we ran out comfortable 3-0 winners. But I thought we were lucky to get a point today, to be honest with you all. Thought if we played a team any better than Aston Villa, we would have been beat by 2 or 3 goals today. They had loads of golden chances to put away early on. Fortunately, they didn't score them, and we managed to get 0-0 at half time. Andy Carroll was a fantastic appearance to come on as a sub, immediately making an impact, just like Dwight Gale, with his best Michael Chopra impression of scoring after a couple of seconds, after a couple of touches. But no, I think if Andy Carroll had started, he was a lot more of a nuisance than Jordan was all game. I think if Carroll had started, we would have had, I think, 3 points, because we would have caused more problems, and Miggy would have been able to get in behind and be a bit more effective. But the positives to take out of it is simple. We're on 39 points now. We're close to that 40-point mark. 12 points from the drop. I'm confident Bournemouth won't hit that. I'm confident Aston Villa won't hit 12 points. So as far as I'm concerned, that's Newcastle safe now. So we'll just take a draw. If you had offered 4 points from the first 2 games, you would have took it. So we'll just take the 4 points, and we'll move on to Sunday in the FA Cup against Man City. But I will end on saying, if we play like that against Man City, we'll get the floor wiped. We'll be wiped the floor with, because Man City will just hammer if we play like that. So aye.
And there you have it, and that is a wrap, people. So the games come thick and fast. A couple of updates. The Black and White show is currently suspended this week, because we're going to tie that in with the preview a little bit when we've got the live preview later on this week. I think it's the workload at the moment is quite a lot, so we're going to just bring that down a little bit. So we're going to tie that in with the preview. So we'll still use the WhatsApp, so don't worry, but it'll be more of an interactive preview later on this week. Don't forget NFTV Extra, still loads more videos on there as well. But yeah, let us know. I hope you've enjoyed your week, unless it's a weekend day. I forgot what day it is. Thanks everyone, good night, bye bye.